How's everybody doing? So, progressing slowly but surely, right? With multiple layers, trying to achieve that high resolution terrain that I really like to do. You know, if you were to look at this now, you'd probably think, oh, he's getting there, he's almost there, but I'm not even close. Like this whole scene, what you see here, like I'll move, like I'm right here, and then I'll move over here, and then over there, over there. I just cordon this off. This is a separate diorama to me, and then I vignette or postage stamp scene each area back and forth like a mosaic almost. And then when it all comes together, I'll know. I can't say when. It's just this ongoing evolution of shifting colors and textures, and I just want to give you a little bit of an example of that. Like this has been painted, this isn't finished, but you can see the contrast here. It's been a few layers of really, I'm starting with really dry 2 mil and 4 mil grass. You can still see the fast mash here and the original umber wash. This is going to require probably 3, 4, 5 different paint layers and a little more texture, on and on. This I just added in, and it was like this. I pointed this out before. Like this is the matte medium. That's, you know, rip-rap, we were like, this is just decomposed granite. Like I find this stuff on the sides of roads and highways and, you know, wherever, and then I wash it all and dry it out, and it gets adhered in place like I show and painted, and it's awesome. So like I just give you an idea. So this was done last night, and I put a fan on it. It's hard as a rock now, and it's all modeled in. So I'll probably rework this several more times, but I'll just give you an example of how I would like spend an hour, let's say, like when I model. So I'm going to take a wet brush and some Insignia White 71.279, and I have some of this as well, Pale Blue Gray 71.046. And I'm just going to drop a little on here because I want to lighten this rock just a bit. I don't mind the color. It's has a cool shade to it, but I'll shift it again when I do an earth, a thin over spray filter of earth at some other point. Who knows when. I'm just going to work this area, tone this down a bit, and I'll show you how I apply some of the dirt, like in the transition zone here. So you can see it's just a very diluted, once again, it's all about super thin multiple layers in the same way a painter would approach a canvas. I just treat this here, it's just like a canvas to me. I approach it in the same manner. It's a painting. Model railroad scenery is just a painting to me, and you don't put the painting together overnight. You stab in colors like this, and then you walk away and you don't worry about it. You work on something else, and eventually it just all starts to come together. So I've lightened that down a bit, so I'm just going to leave that. I want to show you what I do. Let me just pull this up here and this down here and grab some matte medium on here. And I want to show you how I blend a transition zone in the same way you'd blend color. I like to blend scenery. So here's dried grass, 2 to 4 mils, a bit of green I just added. That's the second layer of grass. I have this riprap and then finer sand to build in. Now you can do a lot of this in one go, sort of, like you can put the heavier rock in and then some medium in behind on top, because erosion will wash it down over the years. Because this would have been a bulldoze section, who knows, like 20 years ago maybe or something. So I haven't added grass or roots or foliage that might grow in and amongst these rocks and so on, but that's another layer later on. But I want to transition some of this here into a more soil look. So this is how you can do it. You take some matte medium, straight matte medium with a wet brush I like because it helps the matte medium to feather out better. And I'm just going to show you how you can just put matte medium down first rather than laying down the soil first and then spritzing it wet and leaching in the matte medium to seize it in place like I did this riprap pile here, or bank. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to treat this part here just a little bit. Okay. Now this is just sifted detritus and dirt and dead leaves, like been dried and sifted over a summertime, let's say. I'm going to take some of this and I'm just going to sprinkle it on, throw it on, and I'm going to put a fan on this, and it's going to dry in a couple of hours, and then I'm going to vacuum it. And then what I'm going to do, not now, is take some super thin earth, remember, tinted IPA, and I'm going to filter, I'm going to take my airbrush probably, or even by hand you can do it, and just stab more color in just to reconcile everything together. You'll find that the more multiple layers, and I know I go on and on about this, but I don't know what else to say really, to be honest with you. Like, people want to learn how to do this terrain. You do it any way you want, but this is the way I do it. And you know, I have a vision for this whole area. I don't really know how it's going to turn out. Like, I just saw, like, there are always problems. I just saw them as I go. Like, see this seam here? Well, this seam will be easily covered. I can, like, this is just an example, but I can just put a bush in like that, you know, and then trees and more bush. But this is a whole, like, this is another secondary layer, like the flora and fauna and the foliage. This grass is just really the layer that comes after all the hardtack or the substrate, like soils and rock and so on. Okay, and you know, have fun doing it. Like, don't be like, don't force your hand, but don't worry. Like, whatever you do, like, just lay it on and then leave it, walk away, and then go to something else. You can always do this again and cover it up, or change the color like I did here. You can see I covered up a little bit of this. It's already looking really awesome. Like, that's how I do it. And then, like, at some point I'll do pinch and stab grass, and then before you know it, the scene, if you're patient, the scene just starts to come alive, and it comes from you and nobody else. You, like, each individual will express their creative look on their terrain when they approach it in a manner like this. Ultimately, it's your railroad and you build it the way you want, but if you want to really express yourself in your scenery, just take your time, build up layers, stand back, look at it, change it. If you're good with it, move on to another area or another postage stamp scene or vignette in the larger scheme of things. And before you know it, you'll have this really awesome looking terrain to run your favorite locomotives through. You know what I mean? Cheers, happy modeling, and I hope you have a great day.